right? Oh my god, blasted. So like looking at this situation as a whole, I want to back out. Like, what's the major thing that they have that we don't? Right? I just want to hear people identify it. I'm gonna play it in half speed with the icons on, just so someone can tell me as they set it up. What's the core thing that this team has that we don't in this moment?
Coordination.
Well, not necessarily. It's tied to coordination, but it's not coordination specifically. Like, what is it here? I think.
Plan.
Okay, we're in terms of Overwatch specifically, right? Team notwithstanding, what is blue doing that red isn't?
Countering. Or like flanking.
Yeah, it's kind of tied to flanking. It's a little broader than that. I don't know if we've talked about it too much, but here they've created map control, right? So like, let's look at this situation a little bit harder. So when we start off the map, we're running a 6 down main, and you know, playing a 6 isn't bad, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. So we're playing a 6 here, but what is needed, right? Well, we know they're running Doomfist, and if we hold tab or if we listen, like we know they're running Tracer, and so we should have a good idea. It's like, okay, we're gonna get flanked here, right? So you said it, flanking, but all of our damage is gonna be focused down on this one main, right? If we're all looking at it and we're not, you know, covering for our backline or whatnot. So what ends up happening is this team runs map control, right? Where we're in this red clump and all of our damage is very linear, right? It's very focused down main. Well, they've got both healers and both tanks, so they're gonna be able to soak up a good bunch of it. And frankly, given how they out mechanicked us on the last map, I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same thing here, right? But what's gonna happen is we're gonna be forced to fight in this one corner, and they're gonna have a lot more room to work with. They're gonna have better angles on us, and at the end of the day, our attention is going to be split because we're not preparing for this, right? So even though we have a hyper focus on one main area, right, which isn't inherently bad, it's good to focus down a target or a set of targets. What ends up happening here is we're going to be put into a position where everybody's attention is split and we can't rally around the same thing, right? So, you know, let's watch this. So because everybody's looking forward, everyone's looking forward, everyone's looking forward, everyone's looking forward, Tracer gets on our backline, right? And suddenly, Mercy's in the backline, everybody's pushed up, Tracer gets a bunch of good headshots, Mercy dies, right? And then, oh, why is Aiden die here? Right? Aiden stepping in front of the tanks. Eats a fire strike, steps in front of the tanks, gets blasted, right? Like, he doesn't need to be that close. He has map control if he plays back here because he can shoot down main and he can shoot down the left side, right? If we play our Junkrat out here, given the range that Rat has, we have map control over pretty much that bottom lane right there, right? This bottom lane, you know, you have Lucio or Mercy posted up with him, but he has to play here. He doesn't need to be playing right up front, right? So that's a mispositioning thing. But if he positions himself better, he has map control, right? Think about what that Tracer just did. If they step back, right, or if they try to step forward here, he can shoot them on either side, and it puts them into a hard position where they have to focus him down and they can't look at main, right? It's all about the attention in this moment, right? And because our attention is so focused on these guys, right? It's like, oh, they've got their lamp out, right? What happens to our Zarya? So Zarya, like, this is decent, right? Zarya's maybe a little close here, but like in that moment, Zarya has map control as well because she is. I say map control very loosely, but like Zarya has an angle here, right? Because Ryan has to shield this. Zarya's looking at him, and now with us here, we're pinching them a little, right? So what ends up happening is now they have to look at two things at once, but then we like reconvene here, and then we become the same target, right? But this Doomfist finds someone to isolate, and it happens to be the Zarya because she's playing on this side, right? And now Doomfist has like got flank control pretty much. Like it's a very tiny flank. It's not much of a flank because Zarya's just right here and the rest of the team's right here. But Zarya's taking a new angle and Doomfist is punishing her for doing that, right? By winning the angle or winning the flank duel pretty much. If I had to put it into words, um, Doomfist is gonna try and 1v1 Zarya on this side, right? And it's a very close fight, so both of them will be able to get support, ideally, in this kind of situation. Right? But now, Zarya gets just picked off and punched out because she didn't see the Doomfist coming, right? So we had like no awareness of that. Somebody just left. I think it was Gabe. So like that's pretty much why this fight goes to pieces, is because like they're setting up controls in ways that we're just not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a whole new element of your like map
It's-
control.
Yeah, it's
What's going on with Reaper right there?
you need to see a chiropractor apparently. Oh my god. That might be the
He's too
thumbnail for
edgy
this
for
thing.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. So like it's not the greatest example of map control, but like if I had to think of a single reason like why we lost, it's like we got flanked and we didn't have any attention ready to go. Like because we didn't have someone ready to challenge Tracer here and keep her away from Mercy. It's like, okay, we just got bodied by that, right? And because we didn't have anyone on the lookout for Doomfist like a McCree, we just got bodied by that, right? And then we have two people get picked off right from the get go. One because he was playing too far forward, and one because she was just doing her job and we got flanked, right? And so then and another person who's doing their job and then just got flanked, right? So this falls to pieces pretty quickly. Right. So we just need to think about like how are they setting up the map, and I'm gonna focus on that again here, right? Now that we've lost this fight decidedly, how do they set up map control here, right? This is what I want us to focus on.
Doomfist is gonna catch an off angle, and Tracer's gonna try to get a flank.
Yeah, Tracer's gonna try and get a flank, and
or
Doomfist wants an
main.
off angle where he can engage from, right? Like Doomfist is ready for us to push main, so he's already set up, right? He's set up for us to either drop or go through here, where he can just, punch someone, maybe get a kill on a squishy, uppercut, and then escape, right? Like he's got his escape route here, and he's got two options, right? He can either punch forward, uppercut, and then slam out, right? He can do that, or he can wait for us to push through main, slam in, uppercut, punch out, right? Either way, he's got an engage on top of us in this position, and he's got an out in this position, right? So he's not trapped, even though he's like in a corner, literally right now. He's not trapped. Like he knows what he's going to do here. So he's set up in a weird way. He's got map control over both this choke and this choke, right? Even though he's not going to be able to do much on his own, he's going to need his team to engage with him. If he gets a pick on BAP or Mercy, he's done his job, right? He needs to kill a squishy. And then Tracer here is kind of just scouting out this flank because she can win the 1v1, so she's prepared for us to push down here, right? So either way, they're gonna know where we're coming from, regardless, because one of these two DPS is gonna hear it, right? B, they're gonna have a way of jumping onto our back line, right? Because either if we push down here, Tracer gets out and Doofus gets to set up again, or if we push up top, Tracer can run behind us, right? So they've set up some really good options. So like the best thing that we can do right now, and it's really hard to know this, right, because of how they're set up. But the best thing that we can do right now is push left, or push this building right here, because there's zero map control over that, right? So like having the awareness of where these DPS are likely going to set up is like, okay, well we can push right here as a team, and if we push through here, suddenly Doomfist doesn't really have a good engage, and Tracer has to burn blinks to catch up to us, right? So it's a matter of making these things decisive. And the rest of the team, I'm not too worried about because they just want to hold. They want to hold down the fort in case we push underneath or through main, right? But they're not pushing here, right? Why do we think that they're not pushing here? They don't want to hold us at that choke.
Because then they can't then they can't defend if we go up top.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Like they wouldn't be in position to take like a fight if we went anywhere but main.
Well, they
Yeah,
could
I mean,
rotate.
yeah, you can rotate, and especially with the Lucio, you've got some speed to work with. Like that's not a bad idea. I hadn't really thought about it like that myself. Yeah, so that's a good point, right? Like if you cluster up in main, there's nothing that you can do about main. But also, like, what do you notice about how main is structured, right? I'll look at it from
Well,
our
if they took the
point of view
fight
too.
at the choke at main, there wouldn't be much room for Doomfist or Trace. Well, Tracer probably could, but I don't know about Doomfist getting out.
Yeah, Doomfist doesn't have a good way of engaging when we're here, right? He'll have to go up here, and then it's hard for him to get out, right? So if Doomfist goes up top here, he can slam uppercut, and then he can't really punch out. So this is kind of a trap for him if he tries to jump on us this early, right? What even if the team's pushing here. But also, if Tracer loses this flank, right, like we can send someone into this room, we can push that. If we send someone around the left, we can flank around and push that. And all of a sudden, right, if they hold the choke, we have ways of getting on top of them, right? They don't know that we don't know that, right? Like I don't think we've thought about trying to pinch them like that. But if we made a swap, like actually we don't even need to make a swap, right? If we just sent Reaper around the left side, right? Like Reaper can get around and behind. So they don't want to put themselves in a position where they can get jumped. They want to be the ones who are ready to assassinate someone on the back line, right? So they're trying to establish this map control. All right. So at this point, Tracer probably knows that we're up here. I don't know why Doomfist is this actually.
He's gonna go over the building.
Yeah. Yeah. So Doomfist messes up here. Doomfist was prepared for us to be in main, I think.
No, I think he wanted to go over the building, and like, if you go back, he can go on top of the building, like right there. If he makes it over, he can slam back the other way
Oh,
and have full
do you
charge
think
slam.
you think he was trying to do a 125 slam here and like I just
Yeah, he was trying to
charge
get
up?
on top of that and slide to the other side so that he could get a 125 slam.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah,
That's
but
something I've done on Doomfist before.
by the way, he still beefs it, right? Because now he's here,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, like he's here because he's ready for us to push up top, and that's why he does this. So that makes sense why he does that. He just messes it up going here, right? But now, right, like, and if we recognize, like, okay, we just heard Doomfist get out, we should know it's like, okay, well, like he's not in this corner, right? And if I hope we check this corner. Please tell me someone checks this corner, right? Okay. I don't know why we're doing this, right? We're all kind of falling back, but it's like we should start moving, right? Because the longer we take to move, he just gets to set right up again, right? And I want to see like, okay, could we have pushed in the time that he messed up? Yeah, like we literally step out, run back inside, play in here for a bit. Like we literally just said, "Uh oh, Doomfist, like you messed up. It's okay. We'll give you another try." Right? Like that's exactly what we do right here because we were ready to push. I think we just freaked out because we heard the Doomfist without seeing him, and we let that get to us. Good bubble.
Yeah, we were really scared of the Doomfist. I mean, like anytime.
That's fine, but it's like all we gotta do is check for him, right? Like we just have to be aware of like, okay, what would a Doomfist do in this situation, right? What are the options that he has? That just comes with game familiarity, right? Because we eat the punch, right, with Adrian's bubble here, and he has to get out, right? He's used his punch, he's used his uppercut, and he has to disengage, or we're going to collapse on top of him, right? So now he's out of the fight, right? Like for this like 3-second window, he's out of the fight. Let's run on them, right? He cannot peel for his supports. Run and swing. Cool. Now we take high ground, right? Like it's that easy. I mean, we burnt lamp as a result, but do you see how we reestablish high ground dominance off of that, right? I'll watch it back too. I'm gonna watch from Adrian's perspective. Watch this bubble. Completely accidental bubble, but it worked, right? But he's here, and now what's Jake doing? Jake's trying to blast this guy because it's like, okay, look at this idiot. He doesn't have any cooldowns. Like I'm just gonna kill him right now, right? Like it's that easy because he has nothing to work with now. Let's focus him down. He has to get out. Awesome. Let's run on this high ground. And if they don't leave here, right? I think that mine was maybe not the best, just because it kind of forced them to leave. But like we could have gotten a kill off of that, right? Like we could have 100% just rolled over those supports there. Okay, so we lose lamp. And now what happens, right? All right, Doofus is going for the same thing. Okay. So we're like scaring Doomfist off because we just don't want him getting in. And like and he can't punch into this, right? He can't safely get in and get out. Okay, this is a bit of a misplay. So
Yeah.
we had high ground control for a bit there. But like what I need to see is like Aiden needs to be setting up trap here, right? We need to be moving more decisively, right? Like focus the target. Like we don't want them. We don't want them to leave the high ground here when it's just the Baptista and Lucio because we can kill that, right? We win the 5v3 in that moment. But like, look at our Ryan. So now our Ryan's here, doesn't have any support. If their Ryan decide to push or that Zarya decide to push, he dies, right? Doomfist can get the jump on him. Like now he's super isolated and we have a Trace in the back. But now let's talk about map control again, right? What do you see here? What do you notice?
They have all control over like everything.
Yeah, talk me through it. So who is able to do what with this positioning?
Tracer can flank. Doomfist can cover the squishes that drop, along with the Rhine.
Yeah,
the
Doomfist has
healer can
control over the
heal all
bottom,
of it
and he
Tracer.
gets the high ground. Tracer can get the high ground from behind. What else?
We're kind of trapped. I mean, we can't.
There is a way out of this, but I need someone to say it.
Would just be drop top.
We
top
could have
left.
dropped and went main.
Drop and went
Right.
main. Yep. At this point, when we push them into this situation, and like, okay, look at this Zarya. Zarya's actually got a really interesting position here. What does she achieve here?
She can shoot her little cannon thing. With
Promising.
Let
but not
me
good
play
enough.
it slow, right? What is Zarya able to do here?
My ultimate is charging.
Line of sight.
She's got a good line of sight if we drop there, right? Like she can start beaming us, she can start shooting us. She's got bubble ready to go. But what's the problem with this position? Given what you notice about this Zarya.
Well, she's got grav.
She's got grab, okay.
For the Crusaders!
Right, that's actually not terrible. Right, she drops there. But like one of the things that happens here that I don't like about this Zarya right now is she's very, very low charge. So the impact that she's going to have is very minimal. Which means like, okay, we can't push directly into this because you know she'll just drop it and kill us back. But if we rotate and go through main, she not only doesn't have charge, like if we were to have someone drop here to win that fight, but like she's basically gonna be the last one to engage unless that Lucio pockets her, right? Like she's in a bit of a weird position. It's good, right? It would be better if she had higher charge or if she was able to farm a little bit more charge. The problem is that she doesn't have charge though, right? But what is she doing different from Adrian, right? Really very little, because he's got way higher charge, and look how superior this position is for our Zarya than theirs, right? Because of the charge. Look at what this Ryan has to do. Ryan's got like shield out. Ryan gets pressured back, right? So we can force our way through here. It's not ideal, but we like can do it. We just have to start thinking about targets, and we have to like really focus. But you know, I don't know why we send Mercy through here, right? I don't know why we send BAP next, right? Like the wrong people are going first, right? The wrong people are dropping. We can definitely afford to put more pressure on them from here and then drop, or just like, you know, waste their resources a little bit more, right? Force their bubble because we're up here. Force that shield to go down because we're up here, right? Like this is a good position that we can play it slow in. It sucks that our Ryan drops that. It sucks that people get picked off. But like, look at this Ryan. He wants to go after Cody here, right? Like he knows he's gonna drop. He wants to swing on him, and he's afraid. He's afraid of what's gonna happen if the Zarya just beams him down, right? But yeah, they've set up map control really hard. Well, and it's hard for us to get through in that position. I don't remember if we like win this fight or come close to winning it. No, never mind. Alright, and then we just get split. They use ults. We get bodied. Right. Alright, GG go next. Right. Let's look at the overlay. How they set this up. What are they doing here?
Setting up control
Setting up control. How are they setting up control?
by
Sending Tracer on the flank.
Yeah, Tracer's gonna flank, and Doom has angle if we push main or left or yeah, left.
Yeah. So Tracer's scouting us
Yeah,
out
let's go.
to see where we go, right? And she's got an arm back line already. Doomfist. Let's watch this back. Doomfist got himself into a nice position. Oh my god, he's like he's right up here. He's right up here and nobody sees this.
Meteor strike.
Right. The only reason he does this, right? The only reason he burns punch here is to get as much charge off of the slam as he can. He doesn't get anything out of it. This would have been a bad play if he didn't have luck to get himself out, because we absolutely would have dominated him here.
Meteor strike.
I think he's like thinking about whether or not to commit or not. No, he's escaping, right? He's escaping and getting ready for a second push. Now that he's able to help. Right, back onto the back line, right? And in that amount of time that we burned, what does the rest of the team do?
They start rotating to right side.
Yeah, so they see us in main, and they recognize where we moved.
Meteor
Weird
strike.
grab. Right, but now they're prepared to take this.
grab, and I was really confused.
Where does that grab go? What is Erdfar doing?
She shot it straight up in the air. I'm pretty sure.
Огонь по готовности.
4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think she was prepared for a faster push, and she wanted to catch on the rotation.
Meteor strike.
Or she thought she was gonna shoot it over. She tried to style on you guys and didn't pay out, right? But like, look at this, right? Look at what's happened, because you know they're just wasting ults, and because we're pushing a 6, like here we're getting through a choke, and if we provide the proper support, these tanks get botted, right? Boom, 1, right? And now look at the map control, right? Who really has control over the situation? Do you think?
Actually, it looks like
We
we
do.
have like
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like they are not in a position where these these DPS are not gonna be able to win this 1v3. This Tracer, or they're doing a 2v3 right now. The healing isn't great, but like we're able to just move out and force both of the DPS to come through here. And right now, right, I want to see like where does it turn, right? Right, we step a 6. They overextend, right? They get into a position where they're in the choke, and suddenly they're scared. And that Lucio's way too deep in. Like, this Lucio needs to die, right?
I called that the tanks were low, so I started
Yeah.
pushing.
Yeah, so if we all push together, what would happen here, right?
We roll through the Lucio, and they get down their main tank. Most likely the Zarya dies too. And then we take point. The Doomfist and the Tracer won't be able to do anything.
Spectate overlay, right? So Ryan's feeling it. Like Ryan thought he could go in, and he's getting punished, right? Lucio gets out. But now what happens, right? We haven't set up the concave, right? Like, we're not making this arc around them. If you think about map control as like a theoretical arc around the enemy team, right? We haven't quite set that up, and also the wrong people are engaging, right? We should not have our Baptiste frontlining against a Zarya that's at 76 charge. That is a bad move, and I don't have any way of sugarcoating that, right? Like, Ryan could do that if Baptiste is supporting him, sure, right? But Baptiste running and gunning instead of a tank, because the tank's not doing anything here, right? And Mercy's trying to support the people in the room, right? For a brief second, we did have the control over that situation, right? And then we lost it. We lost it because the wrong people engaged. And now who has control, right?
they did.
Is it still us?
I mean, winnable, but I don't think anyone really has control of the situation.
Yeah, right here, nobody really has control because we're fighting on like 2 different flanks, right?
Both
So
teams are just kind of scrambling.
everybody's scrambling, right? Because this strike force wants to beat Ryan to the point and fight on point before the rest of us win because they don't realize that they can cut us off here, or if they do realize, they don't think that they win this, right? The DPS are now scrambling. Doomfist has to try and get to main because is he out of cooldowns here, right? Okay, yeah, he's waiting on his punch, right? So he's scrambling to get to main because he's like, oh, I'm way too far back and I don't have the tools or the setup, right? And Trace is gonna do the same. It's like now we can make a mad dash to point and flip it on them, right? Which actually I wonder if we do, right? But now like here, Ryan's taking a bunch of damage, shatters a bubble, right? And doesn't really have the support because we only have Mercy heals and he's going in without her. So he's desperately shielding. And now look, right? And now who has control over the situation?
They do.
They do, right? So you know, it's a lot of moving parts and it's hard to understand, but it's like, you know, if we had run up on these guys, right, we would have forced them to be on the attack here in the choke, and they would have had to like, okay, send people here, which, you know, Junkrat covers pretty well. So it's just a matter of people knowing how to do their jobs just a little bit more efficiently and when to go in, right? And so like here, Cody, you're going in and you don't have any support because your Baptiste has just died, right? But like your team needs to be going in too, right? Like this isn't 100% on you. This is like, okay, our team needs to go through, but understand like, okay, your team's hung up back here. Call for the healing because you're the one who's about to be doing things, right? So Mercy needs to help you, right? And then just taking that is I understand why you do this, right? Because you're trying to prevent them from setting up that crossfire, pretty much.
Yeah, I was trying to
if you
keep
hold
them from-
choke.
Yeah.
Go on. So I say what you're
I
about
was
to say.
just trying to keep our momentum going.
Yeah, keep the momentum
Sweet.
going.
So we didn't lose anything.
Right. Here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Here you need to be focusing on that Zarya, right? Like you can close the distance and Baptiste needs to fighting. So that's definitely a misplay by them. That's tragic. Right. 4 HP. Here. Right here. Here you should probably just get out of that, right? Like you can give up the map, like this wall is gonna set map control. You can go around that and push him, right? Don't be afraid to rotate around this pillar and push the guy. Because then you're gonna force him out of position, right? So like again, it's all working parts and it changes quite a bit. But right, let me watch your perspective. Right, what ends up happening here? Share comes out. Like Doomfist does not have an ideal setup here. He only gets that off because like of how low you are, right? And I like this Death Blossom, right? I think this Death Blossom pretty much achieves like what they were doing the entire time, right? Because look at this, they have no idea. Zarya has an idea, but the supports don't, or maybe the Lucio does, right? No, Lucio's looking at other stuff too, right? And you know, again, this changes so rapidly, but now look at the position that's happening, right? This Zarya is going to be in a world of hurt in a minute, right? Lucio has to dance around the pillar. I forget how. So Aiden unintentionally face tanks for Mercy, which is huge, which brings you back into the fight, right? And this Blossom is big because I'm gonna go back, right? Again, I understand this is so many working parts, so it's hard to follow, but it's like look at how the situation changes just by like these little micro plays that happen, right? Because we stop clustering up and because Reaper puts pressure on the Baptiste has to fall back. Zarya has to turn her attention away from everyone else. Like, imagine if Zarya was focusing Mercy here. Imagine if Zarya was focusing Junkrat here, right? But now the attention's been split. Lucio doesn't get the boop off in time, and he takes too much damage. And because he boops, right, like he pushes the Beyblade back into the Doomfist, right? So like that was a really good play by Jake, and I want you to understand like why did that play by Jake work, right? And so we actually get the flip off of that whole fight, that whole weird engagement. We took it I don't want to say we did it perfectly by any extent. Like we actually
We
engaged that
definitely did
really
not do that
poorly.
by-
Yeah, we did that engagement really poorly, but we made fewer mistakes than they did, and that's what counted at the end, right? Is we ended up creating a situation for ourselves where the right people were in the right places at the correct times, and that's why we win that fight, right? So does everyone understand like kind of a little bit more about like how the map control is established?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you guys
no,
like see it? I
I
know it's super complicated and like and it's constantly shifting. So I don't blame you guys for not being able to like recognize exactly at that second who's in control of the situation, right? It's something that you like really have to slow down and take a look back at. But like but it pretty much explains what fights we're winning, which ones we're not, right?
it's really eye opening because like I've been so fixated on like the team pushes like as a unit. You know what I mean? Like a six, all
Mhm.
six pushed together. That's how you win fights. But this is like a whole new element. So we
So
can.
so I want to correct something you said, and this isn't because you said something wrong, right? But I want to focus on something, right? What did you just tell me? You've been fixated on pushing S6
Yeah, like
because what?
if we don't win if we don't push as six. That's
You said something else. You
push as a team and
push
push
as a
W2.
team, right? So I want to break that stigma now. That I'll make that like the final point of today, right? Pushing as a team does not inherently mean all six of you are sharing the same pixels on screen, right? Because what's happening in let me go back to it. Let me go back to this fight, right? I want you to see what's happening here, right? Think about when the DPS are engaging, right?
I go.
Right. So the DPS go in early, just a little bit. Doomfist gets out, and now watch this next fight. What are they doing here?
They're all
They're
like,
engaging as a team.
They're engaging as a team, right? They are pushing as a unit. It's just not as linear as I think we've been picturing it, right? The problem is they push as a unit out of sync. Actually, they don't even. I can't even really say that they push as a unit, right? Because what ends up happening is Doomfist takes a very early engagement, which forces his meteor strike, and the rest of the team is not ready to push with him, right? This isn't because they didn't play as six, they didn't play in a clump, right? This is because Doomfist went too early. Like look at Tracer. Tracer gets out. Tracer doesn't even want to have a part of this because she knows this is early, right? Doomfist knows this is early. And then Doomfist gets out. The tanks are pushing down at the bottom there. Baptiste isn't even ready, right? And so now here they are pushing as a team because Baptiste is getting a flank, and he can get some healing in. He can throw that lamp. Tracer's getting ready to jump in and maybe pull spot or well do damage. Doomfist is going in, but because they fell out of sync, the tanks and the healers took way too much damage because we just ran at them, right? And so because they set up a push as a unit, but they failed it, right? Because certain members of the team fell out of sync, right? And now we're pushing as a unit, right? In some
I
regard.
honestly don't think they had a plan. They were just kind of.
I think they did, right? I can see the plan, right? What makes you think that they didn't have one?
Maybe they had one, but they didn't execute it the right way.
Yeah, no, that's entirely what this is, right?
Execution problem.
It's an
I see it.
execution problem. Is somebody calls that they're pushing into this corner and the team wants to catch you guys before you get to this room, right? They want to catch you guys in this room and force you to fight your way out of that. But the problem is things like, okay, like they could fight main. They're preparing for you to push down main because if you push through main here, right? This squad, even though they're back up now, they run into you while the Doomfist jumps the back line who's going to be here, and the Tracer kills whoever's up top, and then whoever's on this, right? The plan is jump them, right? Have the DPS jump them, and then we'll run at them through main, right? And so Doomfist thinks that's what's going on, and then he goes in on a 6-stack, right? This is not good for the Doomfist. He has to use his ult to get out. He doesn't want to, but he has to, right?
Огонь по готовности.
And it's already
I
this on
actually
the
have to go. I'm gonna be
Okay.
late for work.
That's fine. See you later.
I'll see y'all.
See you. Right? Doomfist goes in, messes up. Tracer's trying to act on the plan, but it's different now, right? It's different because you're not in main. You're in this corner, and so now the team has to scramble to respond, and they want to hold here, right? Because they think that you're gonna push through here next, and they want to hold that. And you know they're right about that, but it gets miscommunicated. It gets miscommunicated, and the parts that need to be in action right now, like if we were running through here, Doomfist needs to be ready to punch who's ever in the backline. Tracer needs to be ready to kill who's ever in the backline, and they're just not, right? But at the end of the day, you know they did have a plan to play a 6, and I'll look at the first fight actually because I think that serves the point a little bit better, right? Right here, they are in fact playing a 6. They're just doing it differently, right? Because this team's taking the engagement here now, and now that front line is engaging, right? The Ryans are swinging on one another. This is the fight has begun. I'm going to send the rest of the team after them, right? Tracer needs to get on the back line. Doomfist needs to cover the flank, right? And you watch this, right? And now the tides have turned because they played as a unit, right? So sorry to harp on you so much for what you said. I just think that's a really good phrase of describing what's happening. Yeah, playing as a unit does not mean that we have to be clustered. Playing as a unit means that we need to be engaging at the same time. And that's what they're doing that we're not. So, but they are playing as a unit, right?
Yeah, this is very eye-opening.
I can agree.
Gabe, did you have any other input that you want to add to? I know you've been in and out.
No, it's just that I didn't see anything from like now I'm seeing it kind of from their eyes. From kind of what I caught there, and yeah, this map control thing is gonna change like how we're gonna be able to play.
Yeah, I know. Now we can
Like
like
I feel like
break
if we can start getting this down, like we'll be able to play anyone if we can almost
Yeah.
have map control down.
like our mindset going in like in planning is like push as a team, win fights.
Yeah.
That's our plans for every attack.
Yeah. But think about what that means now, right? It's like we still want to push as a team. It's just a matter of let's get the pieces into place now, right?
Yeah.
So
We just don't have to.
I think next time we meet, well, actually Monday you guys will have your match. I think Tuesday is the next practice. So Tuesday, whatever the result of that match is, I want to look at that and look at map control. As that we can talk about like, okay, did we set this up effectively? Do we push as 6 or do we push as a unit, right? And just make that distinction.